things are going on. Look at Russia and its battle with my very, very good friends from which Russia used to have as Namaste. Namaste, Bhaskar. Glad you could come. Modi has just now come to Russia to meet Putin. It's very, very interesting. And he says peace is the main thing, he's telling Putin. Incredible. So, we'll begin tonight on page 54. Above the world creators stand. You got it on? Okay. Above the world creators stand. In the phenomenon, see its mystic source. So in this phenomenon of our world, they see the mystic source. And all of us who are fortunate enough to be here on the earth at this time, we must have deep gratitude and total humility. No one else had this opportunity. Only those born since Sri Aurobindo, the avatar, came down and Mother came to join him. It is a phenomenon that may not be understood on the earth for hundreds of years, but they are changing it with the supermental. The supermental is working so hard, but quietly, churning up all the difficulties. So, these heed not the deceiving outward play of this earth, our deceiving outward play. They turn not to the moment's busy tramp, but listen with the still patience of the unborn. And I'll speak about that. For the slow footsteps of far destiny, approaching through huge distances of time, unmarked by the eye that sees effect and cause, unheard with the clamor of the human plane. So there's a lot to go through here. We'll take it slowly, because this is so important that we know that the avatar is here. Many of us can feel him. I'm sure all of us have had experiences that point to nothing else but the touch of the Mother. Somehow, we're brought here, some of us unknowingly, and many of us from totally different paths and ways. So we see that the world creators stand above the world. They have to stand above the world because if they become involved in the world, they become involved in all the nonsense that we have here. So they have to stand above the world and with their power and force change this earth to the life divine that Sri Aurobindo has promised us. in the phenomenon see its mystic source. These heed not the deceiving outward play. They turn not to the moment's busy tramp, but listen with the still patience of the unborn. Now, the unborn is defined by Sri Aurobindo many times. This is in the Life Divine. By attaining to the unborn, beyond all becoming, we are liberated from this lower birth and death. By accepting the becoming freely as the divine, we invade mortality with the immortal beatitude and become luminous centers of its conscious self-expression in humanity. And then again from the Life Divine with a mention of the Gita. An end have these bodies of an embodied soul that is eternal. It is not born, nor dies, nor is it that, having been, it will not be again. It is unborn, ancient, everlasting. It is not slain with the slaying of the body. As a man casts from him his worn-out garments and takes others that are new, so the embodied being casts off its bodies and joins itself to others that are new. Very interesting statement. I have not seen that statement before. I'll read it again. As a man casts from him his worn-out garments, well, we've seen that many times in Savitri, Book 1, Canto 1, where he's like taking off a cloak. We remember that beautiful line. As a man casts from him his worn-out garments and takes others that are new, so, and here is the key, the embodied being, so if it's embodied, it's no longer unborn. It's embodied now. It's in a body. The embodied being casts off its bodies. Now it casts off its bodies when it passes, when it dies, and joins itself to others that are new. Mother says we can choose our bodies after we go to rest in those planes of rest. We can choose our parents. Certain is the death of that which is born, and certain is the birth of that which dies. And one letter on yoga that I have to share. The Jivatman is for me the unborn, who presides over the individual being and its developments, associated with it but above it, and them, and who, by the very nature of his existence, knows himself as universal and transcendent, no less than individual, and feels the divine to be his origin, the truth of his being, the master of his nature, the very stuff of his existence. And lastly, it is necessary to understand clearly the difference between the evolving soul, and then he has parentheses, psychic being, and the pure Atman, self or spirit. The pure self is unborn, does not pass through death or birth, is independent of birth or body, mind or life, or this manifested nature. And the divine, of course, is the unborn. But we find two lines in Savitri where Sri Aurobindo speaks of Savitri as the unborn, and in another line speaks of Sri Aurobindo as the unborn. That's the only two times in Savitri. For the slow footsteps of far destiny, approaching through huge distances of time, unmarked by the eye that sees effect and cause. Now this is an interesting line with Sri Aurobindo, because we usually speak of cause and its effect. You know, that's always been a tenet for us. There's cause and then there's effect. But Sri Aurobindo says effect and cause. So the effect and cause is a relationship between actions or events, such that one or more are the result of the other or others, unheard mid the clamor of the human plain. Attentive to an unseen truth, they seize a sound as of invisible auger wings, voices of an unplumbed significance, mutterings that brood in the core of matter's sleep. Now this unplumbed and this auger, you know, the auger is known as a soothsayer, a diviner, or a prophet, and generally one that foresees or foretells the future. Sri Aurobindo uses the word as an adjective, auger wings, prophetic wings, a sound as of invisible prophetic wings, auger wings, and then voices of an unplumbed significance. Unplumbed is not understood, as I understand it, in its second definition in the dictionaries, or not explored in depth. Mutterings that brood in the core of matter's sleep. It would be wonderful if we could understand all these things from behind the heart, in the psychic being. In the heart's profound audition, they can catch the murmurs lost by life's uncaring ear. Now this audition, we should define and understand, is the power of faculty, of hearing or listening. So in this heart's profound hearing or listening, audition, they can catch the murmurs lost by life's uncaring ear. A prophet's speech in thought's omniscient trance. Above the illusion of the hopes that pass, behind the appearance and the overt act, overt, not hidden, not secret, very open, observable, behind this clockwork chance and vague surmise. What is clockwork, anyone? Clockwork. It's a hyphenated word, therefore Sri Aurobindo makes it one word.
It's a planned and intentional
yes.
mechanism.
Yes, a machine-like regularity and precision. Amid the wrestle of force, the trampling feet, across the cries of anguish and of joy, across the triumph, fighting and despair, they watch the bliss for which earth's heart has cried. on the long road, which cannot see its end, winding undetected through the skeptic days. Well, so many are skeptical. And yet we see, when we look at YouTube, we see many things. We see people who have had so many near-death experiences, and they've come back and they see how beautiful this life actually is. Well, you know, Ranganath, whom I work with every Saturday, early morning, we have a talk from 9:45 to 10:30. He says that as long as we are in this lower state of consciousness, which is body, life, and mind, we cannot see what's happening. We have to rise above it into the initial spiritual stages of consciousness. That first stage is a great leap from ours, because we are in the physical mind, and that's the higher mind. And the higher mind does have a view on what really is happening on the earth, or in other worlds also. But it's a small view, because then there comes this illumined mind, which is like a light on things, but not a very wide light. And then the intuitive mind, which is a great mind, and it sees exactly. There's no thought, no imagination in it. And above that is the overmind. And above that is the supermind. And when I asked Nalini, where do you live? He said, in the overmind and a little higher. So I have to go to the next page. And to meet it, guide the unheedful, moving world. Thus will the masked transcendent mount his throne. Now, this is one of my most beloved passages in Savitri. And I asked two people, Alok and Amal, to give me their definition of the masked transcendent. Amal said, the masked transcendent is the divine himself, who is hidden in creation, masked by his own works. And Amal says the pointer in the passage is to an excessive growth of falsehood before the divine manifests, a period of great ignorance, which will end with a sudden, surprising revelation. And then begins these magnificent lines. When darkness deepens, strangling the earth's breast, and man's corporeal mind is the only lamp, as a thief's in the night shall be the covered tread of one who steps unseen into his house. Many of you know this. A voice ill heard shall speak, the soul obey. A power into mind's inner chamber steal, a charm and sweetness open life's closed doors, and beauty conquer the resisting. truth light capture nature by surprise. The truth light here is reference to the Superman, supermental. A stealth of God compel the heart to bliss, and earth grow unexpectedly divine. No one has ever told us this before Sri Aurobindo. Look at these lines. First of all, when darkness deepens, could we not be in that point right now, strangling the earth's breast? And man's corporeal mind, body, life, and mind, is the only lamp. What is going to happen? The Lord is going to come as a thief. As the thieves in the night shall be the covered tread of one who steps unseen into his house. What is his house? His million beings that he has created. Billion beings. So this covered tread is a hidden tread. We won't feel it until he steps unseen into our house. A voice ill heard shall speak, the soul obey. A power into mind's inner chamber steal. A charm and sweetness open life's closed doors. Interesting line, these closed doors of life that don't want to let the divine force in. And
voice,
pardon?
a voice, is that
the voice is the divine voice. It's the call of the divine. It's the call of the Divine Mother who has called us here. Unknowingly we came, and we don't really know why. Even after 80-something years, I can tell you that it's been a long journey to understand. A long journey. With much pain and grief and joy and bliss. We live in a world that is both, the combination of both.
So shall we take this as mass transcendent?
Pardon?
Shall we take this as the voice of mass transcendent?
A voice of what?
Mass transcendent.
Masked transcendence? Yes, it's the divine. The divine is the transcendent. Yes. The charm and sweetness open life's closed doors, and beauty conquer the resisting world. And some of us who read a lot of Mother know that she said, beauty is the thing of earth. And everything we do must be touched, informed with beauty. Our thoughts, our actions, our associations, our aspirations, our aesthetic possibilities. I could go on and on. The truth light capture nature by surprise. Now, Sri Aurobindo says something here in the Life Divine that emphasizes all of this. As the higher mind brings a greater consciousness into the being through the spiritual idea and its power of truth, so the illumined mind brings in a still greater consciousness through a truth sight and truth light and its seeing and seizing power. stealth. Stealth is a secret procedure. The stealth of God compelled the heart to bliss, and earth grow unexpectedly divine. Now he's going to continue. In matter shall be lit the Spirit's glow. In body and body kindled the sacred birth. Now what is this kindled? What does kindled mean?
To ignite the flame.
Yes, to ignite the flame, right. When we have kindling wood, we build a fire. So, in body and body, kindled the sacred birth. Night shall awake to the anthem of the stars. The days become a happy pilgrim march. Our will, a force of the Eternal's power, and thought, the rays of a spiritual sun. A few shall see what none yet understands. God shall grow up while the wise men talk and sleep. For man shall not know the coming till its hour, and belief shall be not till the work is done. And so these lines that are so eternal, a few shall see what none yet understands. Only a few. Because God shall grow up. Now, what does this mean by God shall grow up? Well, I think I've told you before of Mary Helen's dream of Sri Aurobindo, meeting Sri Aurobindo when he was 2 feet tall. And she asked Mata Pandit, what does it mean? It means that Sri Aurobindo is growing the earth up. And when it's fully grown, he will be immense. So it was a beautiful letter from Madhav, I still have it. God shall grow up while the wise men talk and sleep. So the wise men, I think we know about them. The evangelists, the false yogis, the tainted priests, all of these people who can talk and sleep about God, but they don't understand anything. That's what he's telling us here. For man shall not know the coming till its hour, and belief shall be not till the work is done. Now the work has been done, and that is the work that Sri Aurobindo handed over to Mother. When he left his body and they put him in the Samadhi, Aurobindo Basu told me, I was there when he passed. And not only his body, but the entire courtyard was golden. And many people saw that golden. Udar couldn't believe it, and Mother said, I will show you. And she touches Udar, and he can see the whole thing. So the supermental was manifested in matter, but it had not come fully down. That had to wait until Mother had the great experience of taking the hammer and smashing the door, and the golden superlight came flooding down onto the earth. It didn't leave the earth. It's still here. You can turn it. And belief shall be not till the work is done. So now he's going to go a little deeper for us into this understanding. He says, a consciousness that knows not its own truth. Interesting. We have a consciousness, but we don't know the truth of it. We are still fumbling around. I'm not saying all of us. Some of us are receiving directly the divine consciousness through Mother and through Sri Aurobindo. A vagrant hunter of misleading dawns. Isn't that interesting? This vagrant hunter of misleading dawns. Okay, vagrant, of course, is someone who wanders from place to place. But these misleading dawns refer back to this consciousness of man that doesn't see anything, that hooks onto this cult or this philosophy or this brilliant idea from some yogi. And actually that is why, now I'm going out on a limb here, not my limb, but out on a limb. It's why Mother says that we really shouldn't read other disciples, other yogis, because everything is in Sri Aurobindo. Everything. And none of the others have even embarked upon this. We have Sadhguru. We had Satya Sai Baba. We've had great yogis. I mean, look at the lineage from Shraddhalu, and Madhav Pandit was his teacher. Kapali Shastri was Madhav Pandit's teacher. Vaishishta Ganapati Muni was Kapali Shastri's teacher. You see the heritage here. It's so beautiful. But none of them were vagrant hunters of misleading dawns. Between the being's dark and luminous ends, move here in a half-light that seems the whole, an interregnum in reality. An interregnum is simply a pause in continuity. Cuts off the integral thought, the total power. It circles or stands in a vague interspace, doubtful of its beginning and its close, or runs upon a road that has no end, far from the original dusk, the final flame. And I have Alok and Temi to tell us what this final flame is. Alok says the final flame is the ultimate reality, the Jyotir Brahma, that is at the origin and end of all things. And Temi says it must be the final blazing out of the light, first dusk after the first dawn. So far from the original dusk, the final flame, in some huge void in conscience, it lives, like a thought, persisting in a wide emptiness. And that is where we are with our sages and seers and holy men and people of the church. I'm not going to mention the Muslims here, but we have to leap above all of this. And that's why we join together. And that is why I come here to share with you the beauty of Savitri. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Namaste. Thank you all for coming. Please tell your friends. We used to have 16, 17 people here every week. And we opened the door even when there were more. So share, if you like, Savitri and the explanations that I offer. Please do invite them. All are welcome. Did you turn it?
This has to be turned.
You have to do that.
It's somewhat difficult, so I'll get some webcam and do it.